if you're planning to come to Germany or you're already in Germany trying to settle down, you should already know that moving to a new country is a lot of hassle. Now, everything is going to seem so fast, complicated, especially when you have to face endless bureaucracy. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can settle in Germany easily without stress and smoothly. I'm going to be talking about how you can get accommodation, the less expensive grocery stores you can shop, coping with the weather, or even coping with the natives here. It can be a little tough, but in this video I'm going to talk about all of these things so you can settle in Germany smoothly and easily and hassle-free. So ready? Let's delve in. Now, the first thing you want to do is make sure you get done with your Anmeldung. So what does this mean? This is your city registration in your city. Once you land in Germany, you have about 14 days. Now, this depends on the city you might be staying. And there are penalties if you don't do your Anmeldung after 14 days. It's either you pay a subtle fine or maybe a huge fine. It all depends on the city, but it's always advisable that you do your Anmeldung. And if you're finding it difficult maybe to get accommodation, especially if you live in a bigger city, then it's always better you inform the immigration officer or slander beholder that, okay, this is what's going on, why you haven't done your city registration, and they'll give you more time. But if you just relax and say, okay, I'll do it whenever I can or whenever I get accommodation, you have yourself to blame. So now, what do you need for your Anmeldung? You need your passport, and you also need maybe your resident permit. So it depends on where you're coming from, the country you're coming from. You might already have the resident permit or the visa in your passport. Either ways, you need your passport or your resident permit. You need your rental confirmation, which is the Wohnungsbestätigung, or your rental contract, which is the Mietvertrag. Either of them, but most times you just go with both of them because they want to check the rental confirmation. And when you're done with the process, you get a document called Anmeldung. That is the confirmation of your city registration that you've been registered in that city. Now, this document is a proof of your address and that you've registered legally as a resident here in Germany. And this document can be used for your health insurance or internet. Maybe you want to get internet from your providers or opening a bank account. That's how strong this document is. So now let's talk about cheap grocery in Germany. You don't walk into some expensive stores because yet it's your first time in Germany, you don't know anything, and you think every store is the same. No, there are some discounted stores that you go to, and the price of the things you get there is different from others. So for example, of such stores, I'm talking about Lidl, I'm talking about Aldi, I'm talking about Penny, or I'm talking about Netto. So all of these stores are discounted stores. And when you go to some other stores like Rewe, the prices of things there are way pricier than the ones I just mentioned. And one thing you should do, which should be like a tip, is you should always check like Aldi Süd, like the app, or Kaufland for stuff like Angeboten or Aktionen, which means like discount on weekly occasions. So when understanding the transportation system in Germany, Germany has like an amazing transport system, but it can be confusing at first, like when you move to Germany, especially when you have your first delay with DB. I know most of the transport system here, the public transportation, they can be early, but sometimes the trains can be late, especially DB, you know. So, but imagine coming to Germany for the first time and having to face a delay. You don't understand. You just see people running or changing, or maybe there's a platform change and you don't know why people are running. So it's always good to understand the transport system. That's why it's advisable that you download the DB navigation app, where you can see real time of all of the places you are going to, maybe like the time, the date, everything. It shows real time. And if there's like a glide change, there's a platform change, maybe you're on platform 1 and then it changes to platform 2, you can easily just check from the app. Or rather, you can also download your regional transport app. So if you're living in what's it called, if you're living in Berlin, it's like the BVG. If you're living in Munich, it's MVV. If you're living in Hamburg, it's HVV, sorry. So they show you the exact route, times, and ticket price, so you don't get confused. Also, you need to understand that in Germany, there's the U-Bahn, which is the subway underground, and then you have the S-Bahn, which is the suburban trains, and then you have the trams, which is like the Straßenbahn, and then you have like the buses. And you need to check on your apps. You're going to see all of the time, real time. If it's delayed, if it's not delayed, it shows on the app. That's why it's good to download the navigation app on your phone for easy access so you don't get lost in Germany. Also, one thing I'll advise you to do is download the Google app. When I came to Germany for the first time, I was looking for a place and only to find out that that place I was looking for was just 5 minutes away from where I was standing. But I kept going round and round because it was super confusing. I didn't know anything and there was no one to guide me. But I checked on like the app, the Google app, when I asked someone at the city center, and the person told me, why don't you look up on your Google app? Like I said in the earlier part of this video for groceries, it applies to the same thing with cheap clothing. So maybe you are the type of person who prioritize food over your clothes. Maybe because you don't want to pay for the weight traveling from your country, like the plane ticket. You know, sometimes when you take over the required number of kg, you have to pay for extra luggage. And so maybe you prioritize food over clothes. Okay, it's fine. But once you come to Germany, you need to stock up on your clothes, especially if you're coming right now when it's already getting chilly. It's getting to the winter time, so you have to go to stores like New Yorker, you go to TK Maxx, you go to Primark. There you're going to find like affordable clothing. Also C&A, you're going to find affordable clothing and also clothes on discount. So, but if you don't know and then you walk into any store, they can give you a really expensive price. But all of these stores I mentioned, the clothes are most of the times they're always discount on the clothes and they are good quality clothes. You can get winter jackets from there. You can get your normal regular outfits from there. And also you can check Deutschmann in case of boots. Sometimes it can be pricey, but they also have like this. So now if there's one thing people always find difficult once they are land in Germany is approaching Germans. People always say Germans are tough to approach. Germans are like this. Germans are like that. But one thing you also need to know is that Germans value their privacy. So you don't want to walk up onto someone and start acting creepy. Also, Germans value their you being punctual and appreciate direct communication. So sometimes people just walk up to them and like just start talking. No, a simple hello or hallo in German or guten Tag, which is good day, would do. We can start up the conversation, and trust me, most times they are willing to help, especially when they notice it's your first time. And that's why it's always good to have a knowledge of the German language before coming to Germany. And even if you don't have like serious knowledge of the German language, at least have like an intermediate knowledge of the German language, like to be able to say simple things like guten Tag or hello, you know, those kind of things. Once you're able to do that, it's like a way of opening a communication, you know, between you and a German. Because if you just walk up to someone and just start talking, it seems a little bit creepy or it seems a little bit off. So it's better when you show like, okay, I appreciate your language, but I'm not really fluent. And then they'll understand and then they tell you. Most Germans speak English, just so you know. Don't think Germans don't speak English. They do speak English, but you always have to show that sign that, okay, I know a bit of your language, but I'm not fluent. It's okay. Then they start speaking English with you. So also another thing you should do is that when meeting new people, a firm handshake and direct contact in the eye should be your goal. Like, don't shake someone and then you're looking elsewhere. It's like a thing in Germany, like a firm handshake and then you look the person in the eye is already creating direct communication with them. And thirdly, don't be offended when people seem reserved. First, because Germans naturally are like that. Don't say, okay, the person is rude or the person is like this, the person doesn't want to talk to me or like this. No, Germans are like really, really reserved. The truth is, now when you're able to break, you know, that gap between you and the German and get into like the circle, you will discover that Germans can be really friendly and loyal. So next up is finding accommodation. Of course, you need a place to lay your head, you know. So this is like a huge issue in Germany, but when you do the right things, then you'll be able to get accommodation, especially if you're going to big cities like Frankfurt, Munich, Berlin, or one of these bigger cities around. You're going to find it tough. But using the right app can make it less stressful. I'm talking of apps like WG Gesucht which is for shared accommodation, or Imoscout24 or imonet.de, and even some Facebook market or specific group in different cities of where you'll be living in Germany. This is going to help you get accommodation pretty easy. All my partners, which I have like a partnership with, is called Amber. I can leave the link in the description. You can also check them. They offer accommodations, whether you're an expat or international student who just moved to Germany. So you can check the link and see if they have like your preference. If they do, then they take care of everything in Germany concerning your accommodation. So when you do these things, finding accommodation will be easy, and you'll be able to do your Anmeldung, because most times what delays most people their Anmeldung in Germany is accommodation. Because if you don't have an accommodation, then you can't do the city registration. Now, one thing you should also do is like try local foods like bratwurst, doner, currywurst, or pretzel, or even go for festivals around in your cities. Like if you just came to Germany, you can also go for like the Oktoberfest or the Christmas market, which is already around the corner. It's like a huge thing here in Germany. There you can meet new people, you can interact with people, you can get friends from different nationalities at the Christmas market. So don't just sit in your apartment and think that everything is going to come to you or how you want it. You need to learn to move out of your comfort zone once you arrive here in Germany. Now, here are some tips you should know when you arrive in Germany. Germans appreciate punctuality. I know this doesn't have to do with the DB, because sometimes the DB can be late, for your travel, but Germans generally appreciate punctuality. Another tip you should know is learning German. So if you came to Germany without having prior knowledge of the German language, it's advisable that you get on some apps like Duolingo or Babel, where it helps you build a knowledge on the language. But from my own perspective, I always advise you to have a knowledge at least up to A1 or A2 level of the language before coming to Germany. But okay, you don't have it and you're already here, use the apps I just talked about. It's going to help you learn the language. Another thing you want to know is that carry cash wherever you are going to. In Germany, cash is king. It will surprise you to know that most shops or restaurants or places that offer services still prefer to take cash over card payment. I hope this finally goes away, but it's what it is. Always have cash in your wallet wherever you're going to, so you don't get surprised when the person or the cashier tells you they only accept cash, so you don't get surprised. Next up is sort your trash properly. In Germany, this is a serious business. Always learn to sort your trash by having plastic different from glass, or by like all of the trash, like all those banana peels, all those rubbish. Don't put them all in one trash, because if you do, you might get fined. Okay, so know all of these tips, and once you know them, you'll be able to settle in Germany easily and hassle-free. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video, which tells you how to settle in Germany. I've received so many DMs from people who just came to Germany to make these videos so they can learn and settle in Germany easily without any issues. Do well to hit the subscribe button down below if you're yet to do that, because we are hitting 6K. It's a growing community, and with your support, we can get bigger and even expand our horizon. If you're yet to give this video a thumbs up, do well now to give this video a thumbs up by liking this video, and leave your comments in the comment section. Tell me what you think about all of the things I talked about and which interests you the most. Is it DB, like the transportation system, or is it something else? And if you can also share this video, that way it gets to a wider audience and we can build our community. Until the next time, I love you guys. Stay focused, stay motivated. Willkommen in Deutschland. Adieu.